Good morning, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you. Are you able to hear me?
Wonderful. Yes, you are now audible. All right. All right, guys. A very, very warm welcome to the very first session of CPA FAR. I am Ayush Bajaj, and I will be your facilitator throughout this curriculum. Now, before we begin, before we dive right into the curriculum, what I want is let's have a very brief introduction so that I know, the audience, I know you guys, and I know, what is your level, what is your background, so that I can also stress upon the pointers which will help you, retain, remember, and understand the concepts well. All right. I'll tell you about myself also, but before that, let's start with you. Let's start with Shrikar. Hi, Shrikar.
Hey, hi, sir. Good morning. I'm Shrikar. So I'm a qualified cost accountant. I cleared my ICAA in 2016. So I'm holding around 7+ years experience in financial planning and analysis. I want to take the CPA to get the opportunity at in the international market.
Okay. And how would you rate yourself in accounting concepts? How well versed are you with accounting as a concept?
Um, yeah, out of 10, I can rate around
Let's say out of five. If you
yeah,
have to rate from 0 to 5,
around 3 I can rate.
around 3.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Hi, Amit.
Hey, hello Aayush. Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, my name is Amit Singh, and I'm a senior manager working for a US-based multinational company. And I'm from
Okay.
Gurgaon.
Okay.
I'm pursuing this CPA to enhance my career because my company is right now uh, it's a startup company basically of the US, and they want to introduce some new business like BPO's operations. They want to carry on their process. And they're looking for some CPA. Probably the plan is for next 2 years, and that's the
Okay.
reason why I have started this career so that I can enhance. I have enrolled in this course so that I can start my US CPA journey.
CPA journey. Okay. And since you're working as a senior manager, I presume that you are very well versed with accounting as a concept.
Yeah. So I'm well versed with all the Indian accounting. In fact, I have a team of a big team who manages all the finance work for me. Uh, it's been quite long. I come from the background of chartered accountancy, and I completed my company secretary as well in 2014. Uh,
Wonderful. So we'll be happy to take you back to the basics then.
yeah, it's been quite long here, but yeah, it is what it is right now.
Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. Hi, Deepti. Deepti, can you hear us?
Yeah, hi. Hi.
Okay.
I'm a qualified chartered accountant and practicing in India. So, I started CPA to enhance my practice.
Okay. Fair enough. So you want to dive into the international markets.
Yeah,
Okay. Fair enough. Being a chartered accountant, I presume that you're also very well versed with accounting as a concept.
yeah.
Fair. Uh, Hi, Payal.
Hi, good morning. Yeah, I am CA Inter and I also did my MBA in banking and finance. Right now I am in US, so that's why I am going with the CPA. On the
Okay.
scale of 5, I will give myself 3 or 4 because 5 was the only subject I love in the CA. But yeah, it's been a while. I am not in touch with the books. So yeah, it's on 3 or 4. Yeah.
Okay. Fair. Fair enough. Hi, Urvi.
Hello. So like I've also done CA intermediate, and just to enhance my, resume and opportunities, I'm like trying to clear CPA.
Okay, fair enough. You're based out of India?
Yes. I
Okay,
mean,
so
I,
you're
I
working
am
somewhere
from
like,
India. Oh no, I'm from India only. And like I'm doing my master's from US currently.
okay, fair. Uh, then we have, is it everyone's done? Okay, fair. Fair enough, guys. So, something about me. I am Ayush Bajaj, and I am an investment banker, and I'm also an international corporate trainer when it comes to finance and accounting certification programs, also investment banking certification programs. I started my career with KPMG India in audit, of course. Uh, then I moved to EY in their transactions. And since 2018, 2017 and or 2018, yeah, I started my own L&D and consulting company. And we're catering to US markets, we're catering to Middle East markets when it comes to financial reporting, when it comes to accounting, when it comes to fundraising, investment banking, and all these types of programs. We also have our own chartered accountancy firm in India. But yeah, so all in all, you'll be in very safe hands when it comes to CPA as a certification program. Of course, I'm a qualified CPA as well. All right, needless to say that. All right, fair enough, guys. So that is about me. Now, we're all here for CPA FAR. I presume that you've all started this curriculum as of now. Anybody who has passed any of the papers, you know about the exam format? Do you know about the papers, the exam papers? Okay,
I just had an
okay.
introduction. I just watched last night your video where you,
अरे
uh,
लास्ट
that
नाइट देख के आज सुबह फिर से मेरी आवाज सुन रहे
absolutely.
हो
Yeah, that's all I know. Nothing major that I know at least.
all right, all right. All right, guys. So, yeah, so it's divided into four exams, right? Three of them are the core papers, right? FAR, audit, and reg. And you have to choose from one of the three disciplines. Now, what are those disciplines? It's BAR, right? Then it's tax, TCP, and then it's information systems. So accordingly, we'll go there once we reach that stage. But FAR as an exam. So it's a 4 hours, 15-minute exam. Let me just share the screen so that it's better for you to see as well. Okay. Just give me a second, guys. I'm just sharing. Okay, so till the time it's up. Okay, till the time my screen is up, guys. Yeah, it is absolutely fine, Urvi, that you didn't attend the orientation. Orientation was just for me to tell you, what is this certification about, right? So that's absolutely fine if you have not attended the orientation. Now, how I have structured this course and what we'll be covering throughout. Uh, as of now, in the first session, we'll be covering the very, very basics so that all of you are at absolutely same page when it comes to accounting as a concept. Now, I know that a lot of you are chartered accountants. Some of you are actually having a lot many years of experience. Some of you are cost accountants. Some of you are CA inter. Some of you do not have that much level of experience. But this class is very, very important for me to set the basics. Now, it might happen that the experienced guys feel that, these are the kiddish concepts that we are covering today. but trust you me, this will form the base of entire accounting. Uh, for those who are not very, very well versed with accounting as a concept, journal entries, accounting equation kind of a thing, uh, journal entries are very important throughout this curriculum, right? It's counting, right? It's financial reporting. So and I don't need to tell you the importance of journal entries. We all are accountants, we all are chartered accountants over here. So in this session, I will actually form the basics. We'll be covering the very, very basics of the things. Uh, you might feel that this is going very basics. You know already, you know everything today, but still, I request you to attend this session. It's no harm to just revise the basics. And for the experienced guys, I would request you to pitch in, right? Let's make this a very, very interactive kind of a session. I will be asking you a lot of questions. Practically, 70% of the time, I will be asking you the concepts, right? And you will notice that you will be able to answer it, right? Even if you're not very well versed with accounting, you will still be able to answer it. All right. Let me just put up the screen. 635 and 1.2. Okay. Also, one more thing, guys, I wanted to ask you. Uh, just okay. I hope you are able to see the screen. Wonderful. No, it's fine. All right. So this is the structure of the exam, right? It's a 4 hour, 15 minute of an exam, right? So this exam will be divided into 5 testlets for you. Testlet one with 25 MCQs. I'm sure you've seen that in the orientation session as well. But for those who have not attended the orientation session, right? Testlet 1 and 2 divided into 25 MCQs each. Testlet 3 will have the task-based simulation. So this exam is divided into multiple choice questions, wherein you'll have 4 options. You'll have to select one option, and simulative questions. Now, what are simulations? Simulations is examiner putting you into the practical aspect, practical life, right? You'll be having a full-fledged case study. You'll be having a full-fledged scenario, and based on the scenario, you'll be required to answer the questions. Right now, it might be that the scenario gives you a lot of annexures out there, right? And you are to see, okay, this is the P&L, this is the manufacturing details, this is the balance sheet, this is the cash flow, and accordingly, you'll have to make the journal entries, or you'll have to answer the questions that follow. Or it can be a simple click and choose type of a question. So when I say simulations, this is not you required to enter anything or write anything apart from the numbers, of course, apart from the amounts. When we say simulations, you have to click and choose among the options, whatever option you think will fit in. Yes, these are lengthy questions, these are big questions. It will consume more time. All right. But throughout this curriculum, what we'll be doing is when we'll complete one topic, we'll be taking up questions from that topic, right? So we complete one topic starting next class, of course. This class will be the basics of FAR. So we'll take one topic. We will do the exam related questions so that you know that, okay, this is the concept that I have studied and this is how I apply it into the questions. Every time we'll take this format, we'll be together, you and me will practice a lot of exam questions. And the key to pass CPA or to pass any professional exam per se is practicing a lot of exam related questions, right? You cannot afford or you cannot expect to pass this exam just by reading the scenario and leaving the questions. Even if you are having, let's say, 10 years of experience, 20 years of experience, 30 years of experience, then also you will have to practice a lot of exam questions. There's a reason for it. Why? Because, once you have a scenario, your mind will get trained to think within 1 minute to answer that question. And how do you get some hacks? How do you answer a question given a particular scenario, right? Now, I know that you all have that much level of experience. I know that you know the concepts somewhere, but to answer it within that scenario, within a 1 minute of a time frame is altogether a different ballgame. All right, so we'll be doing a lot of exam questions as well. Fair enough. So let's start. All right, so before I begin, any question that you might have as of this stage? One question from my side, two questions. First one, are you comfortable with English as a language, or you are okay with English as a language? It's absolutely up to you. Are you okay with understanding everything in English? I presume. Anybody having any problem with Hindi as a language? No? All right. So we'll keep English is fine. Okay. All right. So we'll keep it purely in English. Fair enough. Second question. Now, and this is what I do for every batch that I take, right? So I think the better way out here is to have a personal WhatsApp group for this batch, right? Instead of having one group wherein, you have all the course, everything, coming up. I think that will be better if we have one personal group for this FAR batch or for this, let's say, CPA batch, right? So that, what will happen is you might be having some questions. I might be required. I would want to share a lot of the questions, a lot of question banks with you, right? So it will be group if we have a personal WhatsApp group for this batch. Everybody fine with having that separate WhatsApp group for this batch? Any problem? No. All right. Then of course somebody will have to take the responsibility to create that group. Who will take that responsibility? And not me, of course. Anybody willing to take up responsibility to create a WhatsApp group for all of us? No? Okay. Then what? Fair. Then what I'll do is I will create the WhatsApp group. I will share the joining link here on the chat box, right? So make sure that all of you click on that link and you'll be taken to that WhatsApp group. All right. And that WhatsApp group will be specifically for dispatch. And we'll discuss a lot. We'll keep asking questions into that WhatsApp group. All right. So moving on to the very, very first session, wherein we will be covering the basics. I know you might feel that it's going very, very easy, very, very basics, but trust you me, this is very important. All right. For those who have joined in now, a lot of people are constantly joining in. Guys, it's fine. It's the first session, so you are allowed to join late. But from the next session onwards, make sure that you join the session on time. because not every session I'll take this much of time to start. It was the first session, so I had to take a lot of introductions, tell you a lot of things. But from the next session onwards, 6:30 means 6:30 a.m. All right. I will straight away start the session at 6:30. I would request all of you to please join the session on time. I know it's a bit early, right? It's very early, but I'm sure we can all take that time out and be very punctual. You do that with jobs as well. All right. So next session onwards, I'm sure that you don't want to watch the recorded sessions and listen to my voice all over again into the topics. All right. So make sure that we all join the session on time. Fair. Okay. Now, let's start with very, very easy concepts. My very first question to you is, what is accounting? Simple. As simple as it can get. Yes. You feel free to unmute yourself or raise your hand and whatever. I told you, I'll be asking a lot of questions, guys. It's going to be a very, very interactive kind of a session. Very simple question. My first question coming your way. What do you mean by accounting?
Timely and correctly recording of business transactions, financial transactions.
Recording of business
Financial
transactions. Okay, fair enough. So you say this is a recording of transactions. What type of transactions? And you said a word, financial transaction. Let's say monetary transactions. Right? So counting is recording of the monetary transactions. Very, very good. What is the end result of accounting? What is the end result of accounting?
Reporting of business, then
Profit
financial
or
reporting,
loss.
How do you report?
like balance sheet and profit and loss.
Through financial
Balance
statements.
sheet.
Financial statements.
Statements.
Financial statements, right? Financial statements. Very good. Fair enough. So the end result of accounting is you creating those financial statements. Fair enough. Now, these financial statements, as you correctly said, comprise of the income statement, the balance sheet. Very good. What else?
Statement of equity.
Cash flow.
Statement of changes to equity. Fair enough.
Cash
Notes
flow.
to financial
Changes.
statements.
Cash flow statement. And along with that, you
Notes to
have the
financial.
notes.
Notes to notes.
Wonderful. Very good. Why do you prepare the financial statements?
To know
Good going,
how
guys. Good going.
profitable the company is, or the
Okay, rather,
to know
let me
the
ask you
status
a
of the
better
company.
question. Let me ask you a better question. For whom do you prepare these financial statements?
For the shareholders or
Stakeholders. For
creditors, government.
stakeholders.
Not for the shareholders, right? Not only for the shareholders, right?
Yeah, I
It
mean,
can be for,
government,
so
creditors.
those
For
people
everyone
are
who has interest in the
very good. For everybody who has some sort of interest in the company, who would like to know about the company, right? And collectively, I can call them a stakeholder. Now,
stakeholders.
in some batches, I've had this question, right? When I ask that, who is a stakeholder? They say shareholders. Now, this stake over here is not the stake in the company. I mean, it's not the shares in the company. Sometimes we confuse this word stake and shares. This stakeholder is for anybody who is interested in the company, who has some sort of interest in the company. And who are these people?
Government,
Government.
shareholders,
Okay, so let's
creditors.
let's
Customers.
bifurcate this one. Okay, I know you know that it's very basic, 11th class. Okay, so let's say that it is investors. All right, So why are investors or what type of investors? The current investors or the potential investors?
Both.
Both, right? So let's say the current also and the potential investors also. Okay. And why do you think investors would want to know about the company?
They've invested their money.
They either have invested their own money,
Yeah.
so they, of course, are willing to take the returns out of it, definitely. Uh, and also for the potential investors who are wanting or who want to invest into a company, they'll also see the company for some time, how the company is performing. Then only you'll take that decision to invest in the company or not, right?
Yeah.
Right? I'm sure we don't invest in a company being the finance people. I don't think we invest in the company by just having a tip. Anybody who does that? No,
Sorry,
right? We
can you repeat the
understand. I'm saying we don't invest in a company just by having a tip from someone, right? We, as finance people, we invest in a company after looking at the performance of the company for some time, right? So we are the potential investors into the company. Today, if I plan to purchase the shares of, let's say, Apple or Pepsi, now I will not straight away go and buy the companies. I mean, buy the shares in the companies, right? I will first see the performance over time. So I am the potential stakeholder. I'm the potential investor in that company, right? So wonderful investors. You all understand. Who else?
Government.
Oh,
creditor?
you said government. Why is government interested?
So public money is invested, right? So definitely they have to look at it, right?
Okay. And what if public money is not invested? What if it's a private company?
Taxes.
Taxes.
Yeah,
Simple. Government को क्या चाहिए? Tax चाहिए,
correct.
है ना? So very good. Taxes. Then
Creditors.
somebody's creditors. Let me call them vendors. Let's level up here. है ना? Vendors are there. Suppliers, the vendors. Okay, why are vendors interested?
Because they are supplying the raw materials or whatever is required, and whether the person is
So
able to repay their money or not.
wonderful. If I am giving you my material to you, for me it's a sale, right? So I need back. I mean, not back, but to pay for my goods, right? Wonderful. Then who else? Plus three only.
Banks,
Very good.
financial institutions,
Banks, financial institution, fair enough. So why are banks interested in the company?
they are giving the loans, right?
For the loans. Very good. Fair enough. Who else? अरे अभी तो शुरू किया मैंने. What about employees of the company? Why do you think employees are interested?
More salary, less hike.
Job security, salary, bonuses, increments, right?
Yeah.
Very good. All right. वैसे ही appraisal का time आ रहा है. Okay. What about the management? Why do you think management is interested in the company?
They will be getting the shares,
Bonuses again,
bonuses.
right? Well done. One last and the biggest bucket. Why do you think customers are your stakeholders? अब मुझे as a customer क्या फर्क पड़ता है? I mean, why do I care as a customer?
To happen all these things, customer is the prime one. If they are
So,
not
I mean,
purchasing our product, then no creditors, no government, no investors will help.
fair enough. So, see, customer, why am I interested? Uh, why as a customer I am a stakeholder in Apple
I mean,
or a
when I'm
stakeholder for
purchasing any
Apple?
product, sorry to interrupt. When I'm purchasing any product, then definitely I look into it, right? Whether it is having a good quality or not, or
Whether
something.
the companies have, so as customers, you would want to be associated with a company which is having a good reputation,
Correct.
right? Who is performing well. I don't think anybody of us, as of now, as of the date, would want to purchase Blackberries again. Anybody from that generation of Blackberry? I am. I used to love Blackberry. I still have a Blackberry phone, although I don't use it, but I've kept it as a memento. So I was in love with BlackBerry. But today, if you give me a choice, or if I give you a choice between iPhone and BlackBerry, what will you pick? iPhone?
iPhone.
Yeah,
Why? Why will you pick iPhone?
because it has future.
Because
Latest
it's
brand.
performing, right? You know
Yeah.
that the company is performing well, and you know that BlackBerry is no more, right? So as customers, you are also interested in the company at all times. Fair enough. Wonderful, guys. Thank you for this. Now, you know that accounting is done on a double entry system. And what is this double entry system of accounting?
Having a debit and corresponding credit.
Very good. I know it's very basics, guys. So you have a debit and a credit going side by side, right? And okay, fair enough. And what is this accounting process looking like?
T column. Sorry.
Go on. What is the process of accounting? What is the accounting cycle? What is the first step in accounting?
Journal entry.
Journal entry.
Journal, ledger, summarizing, and then
Very
reporting.
good. You start with the journal entries. You move on to
Ledger.
Ledger, trial balance.
ledger posting. You
Trial
move on to
balance.
the trial balance.
Income
Very
statement.
good. You move on to
Trading and profit.
Adjustments.
the financial statements, right? Then after financial statements,
Notes to
Cash
accounts.
flow.
बस हो गया खत्म.
Annual reports, annual reporting to governments, to others.
अच्छा ये जो financial statements आपने बनाई हैं, these financial statements that you have just told me, is it adjusted or is it unadjusted at this time?
Unadjusted.
It depends, sir. If it is before 31st March or kind of thing, if the
So the correct process of accounting is you first prepare the unadjusted statements, you put some adjustment entries, and then you prepare the adjusted statements, right? And you might want to close and reverse the entries at a later time. We'll keep talking about that a little later. So that is the entire process of accounting, guys. Very good. Okay. Now, let me go back to the basics again. I mean, we are doing the basics, but since we all are having a good exposure of accounting, I am purposefully not going into the accounting equation. We all understand that equation. Can somebody tell me that accounting equation?
assets equal
Very
to
good.
liabilities, equity minus liability.
Assets is equals to liabilities plus equity. We understand this equation? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm not going into what are assets, what are liabilities at this stage. But after this, we will try and prepare the journal entries. I know you all know how to prepare the journal entries. So just help me with it. It'll just revise our concepts, okay? So what are the rules of accounting, guys?
Nominal account.
What are the three rules of accounting law? Ab theek hai?
Nominal account, real account, and personal account. Are you asking about that?
Journal
Debit what
entries. How do you
comes in,
prepare the
credit
journal
what goes
entries?
out.
Debit the
Very
receiver,
good.
credit the giver,
Very good. Debit.
debit all expenses, credit all
Goes out.
income.
Good to see you. You know this stuff. You still remember this stuff. Credit the
Giver.
good. Next.
Debit
Debit all
what comes.
Debit
Expenses and
What
losses.
credit the incomes.
Fair enough. Okay. Then
debit
Debit the
the
losses, credit the
losses and expenses. Credit the income.
loss,
oh,
credit
very good. अरे why am I using separate words? Expenses, losses, income, gain. Income और gain same नहीं होता क्या?
Same nahi sir.
नहीं है same. अच्छा. क्यों?
Income is what we earn from our usual business. Gains are something we get over and above, which is not part of our regular business, like selling assets or something.
Correct. Very good. Now, these are the rules that you use for creating the journal entries, right? Now, to make the things very easier, we do have a modern approach, which requires you to remember we might have, we have assets, right? We have liabilities,
Expenses and income.
we have revenue, we have expenses, and what is the one component left?
Equity.
Equity.
Good. Very good. Okay. Now, an increase in asset. What will you do? Debit or credit?
Debit.
Debit.
Decrease in asset
credit.
will be credit. Okay. Increase in liabilities.
Credit.
Credit.
Very good. What about increase in revenue?
Credit.
Credit.
Good. Decrease in revenue? Debit.
Debit.
Okay. Increase in expenses?
Debit.
Debit.
Good. Increase in equity?
Credit.
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 Very good. So we understand this. Okay. Now, help me with the journal entries, please. And there is a reason I am purposefully doing this simple thing, because this entire exam is about these journal entries. You will notice that a lot many times in the exam, you will be able to solve a question by just preparing journal entries, and you'll be able to get to the correct answer. So I am, this is me making sure that we all understand absolutely comfortably that how to prepare the journal entries. I know it's very basics for a lot of you, but bear with me for this session, please. Yes, please help me with the journal entries.
Cash or bank account. तो ये
Debit, what?
cash or bank.
Cash.
Let's say cash. Okay.
To capital.
Equity. It's debit.
Equity, or let's say capital, whatever. Good. Very good. And guys, please, if there is somebody who is very new to this, since a lot of people are yet joining in, I won't be able to take up the introductions again. We've done that. But again, if you want any further explanation from my end, if you feel that I'm moving fast, just stop me then and there, right? So please make sure that you extract more than 100% out of me. All right. Company A sold goods worth $500. Mr. A. Journal entry, please.
Mr. A to sales.
Mr. X to sales.
Cash to
Cash
sales.
to sales.
अच्छा
Cash to
हुआ मैंने ये
sales.
करा दिया. See, that is why I am doing this. Will it be Mr. A to sales?
Cash to sales.
Cash to sales. Why not Mr. A?
It's not on credit basis, right?
Good. It's not on credit. Journal entry.
Salaries to cash.
Okay. Let's level up. In 31st December year 1, Company A sold goods to customer B on credit with an understanding that customer B will pay entire amount of $600 in 30 days. Journal entry, please.
Customer B
Customer
to
D to
sales.
sale.
Okay, that's it.
Once cash is received,
Okay, so on
cash to
31st of December year 1, the journal entry would be, let's say, accounts receivable. Let's level up, guys. Accounts receivable and credit would be sales,
yes.
right? We don't use debtors, anymore. Huh? It's accounts receivables. It's accounts receivables to sales. Okay, good. Or even better, revenue. Now, on 31st of January year 2, what will happen?
Cash to accounts receivable.
Good. Cash, you'll receive cash and accounts receivable. Why do you credit accounts receivable?
So that it will become cash to sales.
Huh?
Because the account has been
Close the
settled.
account.
Because you'll have to close the account, right? And you said that, see, why do I take build up accounts receivable is because once I have to receive the money from the customer, my asset goes up, right? It's a receivable. So if my asset is going up, I'll have to debit it. You only told me, right? Now, when I collect the money from my customer, I'll have to reduce that accounts receivable, obviously, right? So when you said that, when I asked you what will you do when you reduce the asset, you said you'll credit it, right? So going by the logic, I'll have to do a credit and also I'll have to close that account. right? That's a terminology for the experienced guys. Okay. Okay. Let's level up. Company A purchased a machine of $500. On, let's say, so, हाँ जी, बताइए। Journal entry, please.
Mission account debit,
Machine account
Okay.
debit to
discount received account debit
no
to cash.
machine account debit to
Supplier
it is in cash to cash, otherwise credit. Account payable.
450.
Machinery, what amount?
450.
450.
500 because the worth of the machine is only
Shabash.
500. He only get a discount of 10%, but it doesn't reduce the value of the machine.
Machinery is at full value, right?
More than your cost.
Machinery will be 500.
No.
To cash.
How much cash have you paid?
450.
Is it balanced?
Discount received 50.
Discount received is only for trading.
Okay. Good. So we understand. Okay. Let us now level up. Anybody, any problem with the journal entries that we did?
It's not
No?
correct. It should be 450 to 450.
Sorry.
And the machinery should be debited by 450.
We'll come to that logic. Okay. So for 500, 450, and 50 as of now for you. We'll come to that logic. Okay. Now, regarding...
Sir, one doubt.
Hanji, bolo.
Even in the CPA financial statements as well, it will start with trading and profit and loss, or then the income statement, or how it will happen?
That's the entire process, right?
Okay.
See, CPA or Chartered Accountancy India, the difference is only in the framework, not in accounting, right? The accounting is accounting. The framework can either be a US GAAP or Ind AS or IFRS, right? So accounting is accounting. The basics would remain the same. It's only financial reporting that, there are some differences here and there. Okay?
Yeah.
So when we come to the basis of accounting, let's understand the two bases as of now. We have something known as a cash basis. And what is the other one?
Accrual.
Did you follow? Accrual basis. Okay. Looking at the cash basis as of now, what do you mean by cash basis?
Account for the transaction on the basis of payment or receipt.
Correct. That means what you are trying to tell me is that transactions are recorded when
At the time of receipt or
cash
payment.
is received or paid. Correct. Now we'll level up in our terminologies also a little. Instead of saying recorded, what we'll say?
Booked.
Account for
Recognized.
recognized.
All right. Transactions are recognized. Recognized means recording in the books of accounts. So transactions are recognized when the cash is received or paid. Right? Okay. Fair enough. And accrual basis. Okay, but before that, let me just give you some situations. Let's say there is a company, and this company sold the products to a customer A. And this customer paid at the same time. Is it a cash basis or is it an accrual basis?
Cash.
Cash basis.
So will you recognize this transaction under cash basis or accrual basis?
Cash.
मतलब accrual basis
In
में हम इसको
both. In
recognize नहीं
both.
करेंगे.
In both, actually.
In both.
In both, right?
Dono
Of
mein.
course, you'll have to recognize in both of them. All right. Fair enough. The next situation. And let's say this person will pay in 30 days. Will you recognize it under the cash basis of accounting?
No.
No.
No. Why not?
Cash
We'll
is not
record it,
received.
but on at the time of receipt.
After 30 days, once the payment is received, then we'll record it.
Yeah.
Right. So at this moment, when you're entering into the transaction, and if you are following the cash basis of accounting, you say that I will not be recording this under the cash basis of accounting. Are we all at the same page with this?
Yes.
Fair. Now, what is accrual basis of accounting? Accrual basis of accounting say that the transactions, and this is very important for your exam, guys. You have multiple questions with the cash basis and accrual basis kind of thing. So transactions are recognized when they accrue. Irrespective of whether the cash is received or paid. That means now the second example where the customer A will be paying in 30 days, will you be recognizing this under the accrual basis? Definitely. Right? And of course, this also you will be recognizing. Now, what do we mean by this? And in every class, I will not be writing this much. This is just the basics. That's why I'm writing so much. Okay. The accrual basis say, and it's very important for you to understand this, that revenue and gains should be recognized when it is realized or realizable and it is earned. Now, a lot of terminologies I have introduced here. It says revenue and gains should be recognized when it is realized or realizable and it is earned. So what is realized? What do you mean by realized? Yes, guys?
Received.
What do you mean by received what? The goods or cash?
Cash.
Cash, right? Realized is you say that you have realized when the goods have been exchanged for cash. Okay. And when do you say that it is realizable?
When it's sure that it will be recoverable.
Okay. That means when I'm creating accounts receivable,
Receivable, yeah.
when I'm creating a receivable, very good. So when the goods or service are exchanged for assets that are readily converted, readily convertible.
laptop.
Sorry. मैं कुछ कह रहा हूँ? Okay. So when the goods or service are exchanged for assets that are readily convertible into cash. Okay. And there is another terminology, earned. So revenue and gain should be recognized when realized or realizable and earned. What do you mean by earned?
Let's say Mr. A sold the goods to Mr. B.
Mhm.
Our job is done, and where he has to make the payment to us.
Right.
Uh,
So when you earn the right to recognize the revenue, let's say, so when your part of obligation is complete, when your part of obligation is complete and you are entitled to the benefits, right? Okay. In continuation with this, there are two things that you have to understand. There is the concept of accrual and deference. Accrual when the economic event occurs first. I'll explain. And deference when cash activity happens first. Guys, make sure, please, you understand this concept. Very important for your exams, multiple questions. Let's understand this concept through a situation. There is this company, ex-publishing company, and this company is into business magazine. Of course, this company prints and sends the business magazine. Let's say there is a person on 1st January year 1. This person pays the company $3,000 for a 3-year subscription, right? I hope the situation is very simple. It's comfortable. There is a company X Publishing who prints and sends the business magazines to the customers. There is a customer who pays you $3,000 right on day 1, on 1st of January year 1, for a January year one, what will be my revenue?
Thousand.
When I say the company's revenue, on 1st January year one, what will be the revenue?
1,000.
No, we didn't publish it, right?
So
Our was
you are the publisher,
you are
you are
asking from
the
the
company.
publish. Okay.
From the company's perspective, of course. So for this company receives $3,000 for 3 years of subscription. My question is, on 1st of January year one, what will be the revenue?
Sir, we didn't deliver
I
the
have
book.
one answer. I have one answer as $1,000. Anyone else?
Our job not yet done. I mean, I
0.
didn't deliver the magazines to the customer, so I can't recognize the revenue now.
Okay. So you are saying you will not be able to recognize the revenue on 1st of January year one. Any other answer? And you are absolutely right. Right? On 1st of January, has the company fulfilled its part of obligations? Yet. No, you sent the magazine over the years, right? Over the period. Let's say that on 1st of January, you have not received any magazine from the company. You're not entitled to recognize the revenue as a company, right? And why not? Because you did a line over here that revenue should be recognized when it is realized. Is it realized or realizable and earned? Have you earned the right to recognize the revenue at this stage? No. Okay. But you have received $3,000 in a company. तो
We are
उसकी कोई तो
liable if
जर्नल
we
एंट्री
don't.
करनी पड़ेगी ना, राइट? एंट्री तो करनी पड़ेगी. So
Deferred
अगर
revenue.
if you are not able to take this in revenue, where will you take this?
Deferred revenue.
Deferred revenue.
That is what
Liability.
you know with Ind AS or IFRS. In US GAAP, you will call this unearned revenue. You are right, it's deferred revenue. But you'll understand, I mean, in US GAAP, you will be seeing unearned revenue. Okay. Just there are certain terminologies that are different. All right. So how much will I take it into the unearned revenue?
3,000.
3,000.
The entire 3,000? Very good. And is it an asset or is it a liability?
Liability.
Eh? Why?
I have not yet delivered the
Liability
book.
कैसे हो गया? Liability कैसे हो गया ये?
It's a
I'm liable
company's
to deliver the
obligation.
books.
Are you sure it's a liability? सोच लो एक बार. But आपको तो पैसा मिला है ना? तो
But
liability कैसे हो गया?
Since we are not
earning
able to
capability
deliver,
we didn't
we
get,
have
right?
to repay.
पैसा तो कैश हो गया ना, वो तो एसेट हो गया. That created our
वाह.
liability.
Undelivered, then we will
वाह.
have to repay.
Our obligation is not
पैसा
done.
तो asset हो गया, वो तो cash हो गया. How poetic. Okay. Yeah, you're right, guys. Very good. So it's definitely don't get confused when I counter this thing. You're absolutely right. It's a liability. Why? Because the company still has to perform. Right? The company has to perform. Right? So 3,000, you'll take it in unearned revenue. Okay. Fair. Then let's suppose that throughout the year you've delivered the magazines on 31st of December year one. For the period, January to December, what is the revenue that you'll book?
$1,000.
$1,000. Why not 3,000?
Still 2 more years I need to deliver the books.
Right. So you received it for 3 years of subscription, right? So the company has fulfilled 1 year of its obligation. So you'll take out 1,000 from unearned revenue and you'll put it in revenue. So the balance remains 2,000 over here. Guys, ये exam question है, मैं दोबारा कह रहा हूँ आपको. This is an exam question. I am just making it simple. All right. In the exam, there is a situation. There will be a situation given to you, and there will be options wherein, you know, what is the balance of unearned revenue at year 2, at the end of year 2, right? So these kinds of questions will be done. I'm just making it simple so that you know how to make the thing simple in your mind. Fair enough. Help me with the journal entry on 1st of January, please.
Cash to unearned revenue.
Good. Cash debit to unearned revenue. Okay. And on 31st of December?
Unearned revenue to revenue.
Very good. Debit unearned revenue, credit revenue. Very good. Right. Anybody has any problem with this concept? Is this concept comfortable to everyone? Yeah? Okay. Another example, please.
Sir, what will be the journal entry on 31st December?
31st December, अब देखो पहले बताओ 31st December को किया क्या? What have you done on 31st December? On 31st December, you take out 1,000 from unearned income or sorry, unearned revenue, and you have put it in revenue, right? This is what I have done,
Yes.
right? I'll write down the journal entries. On 1st of January, you have received the money,
Yes.
3,000. To unearned revenue, 3,000. Why am I crediting unearned revenue?
It's a liability.
Liability, right? Liability increases, you have to do a credit. You only told me. Okay. So on 31st of December, what will happen? Now you are
Okay.
taking 1,000 out from unearned revenue and putting it in revenue. So when you take 1,000 out from unearned revenue, your liability increases or decreases?
Decreases.
Decreases. So the liability decreases. Will you do a debit or a credit?
A debit.
Okay. So unearned revenue, 1,000. And where will you put this?
Revenue.
To revenue, 1,000. Comfortable?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good. Another situation. X company. Paid $6,000 for a 3-year insurance. Let's say this company is Y Insure. And this happened on 1st of January, year 1. Yes. Entry, please, on 1st of January, year 1.
Prepaid expense to cash.
Fair. On 1st of January, year 1, why can't I take it in my expenses?
Got it.
On 1st of January, year 1, why can't I take it? Why can't I do expenses to cash?
Because it will
Expense
spread
is
over
not at
year.
Sorry, expenses not?
realized. I mean,
Expenses not realized. How
I
will you
mean to say,
realize an expense?
I mean to
You
say,
have to be very clear with terminologies in the exam, please. You don't
not at
realize
incurred.
the expense.
Sorry, sir, not
Incurred.
at
The
incurred.
coverage is for future. The insurance coverage is for the entire year.
Fair. So as of January, you have not incurred anything as of now, right? When will you incur? When you will receive the benefit? Then only you incur an expense, right? When I receive the benefits.
Yes.
So on 1st of January, I have simply paid the money to this company. So I have not yet incurred it. I haven't received anything yet, any benefits from the company. So you're absolutely right. Prepaid insurance, how much?
6,000.
6,000. I'm not using bank, huh? I'm just using cash just to explain it to you. Okay. Fair enough. Very good. So this prepaid insurance, is it an asset or is it a liability?
Asset.
Asset.
अरे बट आप तो पे कर रहे हो.
We will get something in return of this in future.
You will receive the benefits. Remember, unearned revenue, you said it's a liability. Why? Because you have to give the benefits. I mean, you have to give the services, right? So similarly, prepaid expenses is an asset. Why? Because you will be receiving the benefits, right? So make sure this concept is very comfortable to you. On 31st of December, let's say for the period of January to December, have you received the benefits of this insurance for 1 year?
Yes.
Okay. So what will you debit? What will be the journal entry on 31st of December?
Insurance expense.
Insurance account.
Insurance expenses and credit.
Prepaid insurance.
Very good. How much?
2,000.
2,000.
2,000. Very good, guys. This is what adjustment entries are. You know, after this, you'll be doing the adjusted adjusted trial balance, adjusted financial statements. You know, you remember when I told you that these are what adjustment entries are, right? And there is one more adjustment that you have, which is accrued expenses. Now, I'm not writing that scenario, but help me with an understanding, help me with a scenario of accrued expenses. Accrued expenses क्या होते हैं?
Sir, accrued is a liability, right? So
Yeah, so what is it? What are accrued expenses?
Like
Kind of provisions pertaining to that particular years.
expenses
चलो मैं
incurred
simple
but
करता
not
हूँ.
paid.
Let me make it simple for you. What are outstanding expenses?
Expenses incurred but not yet paid.
We have not yet paid, but we have received the
Wow.
service.
Expenses incurred, but TS Grewal याद आ गई मुझे. Expenses expenses incurred but not yet paid. Yes, you are absolutely right. The expenses which you have incurred but not yet paid, right? Those are the outstanding expenses, and that is what is accrued expenses. US GAAP में थोड़ी सी terminologies different होती हैं. This is accrued expenses, outstanding expenses, you may call them. Now, give me an example of outstanding expenses or accrued expenses.
Salaries, wages, like
Salaries. Okay, so let's say salaries. How can salaries be outstanding? Salary तो आप next month दे देते हो.
but like for the end of that month, like if we talk about December, so December pay at the end of December it would be accrued, and because we will be paying it on January, so
Correct. So let's say the company pays you salary on 1st of every month. So for the month of January, you'll get it on 1st of February. Similarly, for the month of December, when will you get it? On 1st of January next year, right? But when do the books close? 31st of December. ये मत बोलना 31st of March, please. Why? Because it's a US certification that you're doing, so we'll be following January to December of a year. Okay. So let's say the books close on 31st of December. Now, on 31st of December, have you paid your employees? Not yet.
No.
Okay, fair enough. But on 31st of December, have you taken the benefit from the employees working for you?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that means you are saying that you have incurred that expense for the month of December, but you have not yet paid. Am I right in saying that?
Yes.
Okay. Then, if you have incurred that expense for the month of December, then on 31st of December, you will have to take it in the income statement also?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. So what will be the entry on 31st of December?
Salaries to salary payable.
Salary expense debit,
Yeah.
credit, salary payable, right?
Yes.
Why am I taking it in expenses? Because I have incurred it. अब
Incurred.
अगर incur कर लिया तो expense income statement में तो लेकर जाना ही पड़ेगा, right? And क्योंकि cash नहीं दिया अभी, I haven't paid cash yet, so it becomes my accrued expense, right?
Liability.
Becomes my outstanding or salary payable or a liability. All right. And once I pay, what will be
Salary
the journal
payable to
entry?
cash.
Salary payable to cash. Net effect, salary to cash. Okay. Wonderful. So far, so good, guys. Sure. I know it's basics, but still, are you able to understand everything? Easy? Okay. Some questions of your exam will also contain these types of questions. Let's say we are talking about accounts receivable. Guys, for the people who are still joining, it's my heartiest request, honest request, whatever you consider it. It is my request. Please join the session on time. It's the first session. It's fine even if you join late today. But from next session onwards, 6:30, I will start the session. Right? And the last thing that you want is listen to my voice on recording again. Okay. So don't do that. Please let's join the session on time. And the people who are joining in, the first session, today's session is me just laying the foundation, setting the base, right? I am telling you certain things that you have to keep in mind for you to succeed in this exam. All right. Okay, moving on. So in your exam, you will also have these types of questions, guys. Of course, we'll structure it once we move along the curriculum. So let's say on 1st of January, year 1, the balance of accounts receivable is, let's say, 3,500. On 31st December, or let's say, the balance on 1st of January is 10,000. I'll make it simple. The balance on 31st of December is, let's say, 30,000. The revenue is, let's say, 100,000. Okay. I just said 100,000, not 1 lakh. Please, guys, it's a US based certification, right? So when you are doing US cap or when you're working for US, when you're working outside India, it is not 1 lakh for you. Not anymore. It's 100,000. It's not 10 lakhs for you. It's 1 million. All right. So we'll also level up when we'll see the exam questions and when we'll discuss the numbers. All right. So revenue is $100,000. The balance of accounts receivable on 1st of January is 10,000. On 31st of December is 30,000. What I want from you is, how much is the cash collected from the customers? I'll give you 2 minutes to solve this. We'll take a break after this question.
Correct me if I'm wrong, sir. Cash collected is zero, right? We didn't collect any cash.
Are you
It's
sure?
only accounts receivable which got increased from 10 to 30. And revenue.
मतलब एक
80
साल में
received.
एक साल में कोई कैश नहीं रिसीव किया.
80,000.
Okay. I know, guys. I'll also be doing it with you. So let's say one answer we have as 80,000. I'll let you solve this. Yes, guys, experienced guys, chartered accountants.
80,000.
Okay. Another answer is 80,000. I'll give you two approaches to solve this question, okay? What about others? Yes, Amit?
It's
Preeti?
70,000.
Okay, so one answer is 70,000. Yes, what about others? Who is Motorola Edge 50? अरे फोन से क्लास okay. Yes, Payal, Rajendra, Prajakta, Mitu, Surbi. पूर्वी का आंसर तो आ गया है. आशीष. Guys, those who are joining, hi, welcome to the session. चलो solve करें? Okay. We'll be doing this through two approaches. All right. The first approach, let's make a T type of an account. You all know this, this thing that I'm doing. I'm just making a T type of an account. This is a debit side. This is a credit side, taking you back to TS Grewal and 11th class. That's how you prepare a T type of an account. Now, opening balance, debit side or credit side?
Debit.
Debit side. Why debit side?
Accounts receivable has debit balance.
Asset has a debit balance. Asset has a debit balance. Very good. That means my opening balance is 10,000. Right? Okay. Closing balance on the opposite side, of
30.
course. 30,000. Okay. Revenue, debit or credit?
Debit.
Debits.
Debit.
Okay. Debit क्यों?
Account receivable increase हो गया.
Account receivable increase होगा. $110. So what is the cash received? कितना आया?
80.
80,000. Comfortable? You can also use the base approach for this. Beginning balance plus additions minus subtractions, and you will get the ending balance. Beginning balance, 10,000. Revenue, 100,000. Closing balance, 30,000. Can you find the cash received? Yes, Shrikar, so good you admitted it. It takes a lot to admit. So yeah, that is the purpose of me doing the session today, this kind of a session today, because it will be very good if we just revise all the basics before we actually dive into the concepts. Comfortable? Okay. Anybody has any doubt in this? What will be the journal entry for cash received? Cash collected or
Cash to
cash received?
account receivable.
Simple, right? Chalo, एक और करते हैं. Just one more before we break. And this now is for unearned revenue. Okay. So the balance of 1st of January year 1, let's say, is 3,500. The balance on 31st December year 1 is 2,000. The revenue is 25,000. How much is the cash collected? अब इसमें कहाँ से कैश कलेक्टेड आ गया? अकाउंट्स रिसीवेबल में तो समझ आता है, इसमें कैसे आ गया कैश कलेक्टेड? Okay, I have one answer as 1,000.
$23,500.
Okay, another answer is 23,500.
Sir, is it 25,000 or 2,500?
25,000.
Sorry, I took 25.
Okay, one answer is 1,000, one answer is 23,500. What about others? Chalo, how many of us are there? 11 of us.
26,500.
26,500. Okay. Another answer is, so I have three answers. 1,000,
26,500.
26,500. Okay. Another answer, दो तीन लोगों का आ गया 26,500. Okay. Any other? चलो साथ में करें. Okay. And before you ask, ऐसा question, ये question exam में आएगा, 100% आएगा. There will be 100%, one or two questions, might be more, that asks you to do this kind of a stuff. And this time it is unearned revenue. All right. Yes. Opening balance, debit side or credit side?
Credit.
Credit
Credit.
side.
Opening balance on the credit side. Why credit side?
It's a liability.
It's a liability. Closing balance on the debit side. 2000. हाँ जी. Revenue, debit side or credit side?
Credit side.
Credit all incomes and gains. Credit side.
Debit.
Debit side.
Socho?
Credit.
Debit.
Credit
Good one.
side.
अच्छा चलो सोचते हैं एक बार इसको अच्छे से. अगर आप रेवेन्यू बुक करोगे, ध्यान से सुनना, इफ यू बुक द रेवेन्यू, what happens to unearned revenue?
Reduces.
I repeat, if you book the revenue, if you recognize the revenue, what happens to unearned revenue?
Will
मेरा
reduce.
एग्जांपल याद करो.
Debited.
It will go
Reduce
to
होगा.
debit.
It
तो
will
अगर
be
रिड्यूस होगा तो फिर डेबिट ही तो होगा. कंफर्टेबल? So how much is the cash that you might have received?
23,500.
23,500. Comfortable with this approach? कर लोगे? Okay. Wonderful, guys. So far, so good. Anybody has any problem till this time, till this point?
Can you explain this revenue 25,000 debit side?
Okay.
Not able to digest.
अरे अभी आपको डाइजेस्ट कराते हैं. चलो. When you are doing this entry, okay, so unearned revenue, is it a liability or is it a credit? Is it a liability or is it an asset?
Liability.
It's a liability,
Yes.
right? So जब ये बढ़ेगा या घटेगा? Will it increase or will it decrease?
decrease.
Unearned revenue, will it increase or will it decrease?
Decrease.
Decrease.
It will decrease. And if you have to decrease the liability, you
Sorry, your voice is breaking. Unearned revenue.
I'm saying when you transfer some amount from unearned revenue to revenue, unearned revenue increases or decreases?
Decreases.
Decreases. So when you decrease a liability, will you credit or will you debit?
Decrease the liability, I'll debit it.
तो मैंने भी तो वही करा है. So when you transfer it to revenue, 25,000 during the year, so मैंने भी तो debit ही करा है.
Okay, here revenue debit side means I'm decreasing my unearned revenue. Okay.
Understood?
Yes. Thank you.
Wonderful. All right, guys. I hope the things are comfortable so far and the approach and the pace is fine. I know a lot of you guys might be feeling यार ये क्या चल रहा है क्लास में, right? ये तो बहुत ही बच्चों वाला है. But this is me just laying the foundation for you. Okay. So let's take a 15-minute break over here. Once we are back from the break, we'll start with financial statements. Right. When I say the financial statements, we'll be talking about the income statement, balance sheet, and the cash flow statement. It'll be good. And if the time permits, let's say, we'll do something interesting also. All right. But let's take a break for 15 minutes. I'll see you all in 15 minutes. Wonderful. All right, guys, are we back?
Yes.
Okay, let us begin again. All right, guys. I hope that was comfortable. Now, we'll be very quickly going over the financial statements as a concept. Now, we will start with the income statement. Now, what does the income statement reflect? I know all of you know that.
Profit or loss of a for a period.
Okay, can I say income statement reflects the financial performance of a company over a period of time?
Correct.
Can I say that?
Yes.
Okay, so two words over here. Financial performance and during the period. Very good. Now, let's make a format kind of a thing of an income statement. What is the top line? What is the top line?
Revenue.
Revenue, right? So, guys, for those who are not comfortable with this terminology, as you level up in accounting, also in corporate finance, also in investment banking, also, people will not ask you what is the revenue of a company, right? Generally, we say, what's the top line and the bottom line of the company? All right, so top line is the revenue. Okay. Then what comes next? Cost of goods sold. What will it give you?
Gross profit.
Gross profit minus. Then what goes out?
SG&A.
Now, when you say SG&A, you are right. When you say SG&A, as per Ind AS or as per IFRS, it works. But under the US GAAP, you are going to separate the selling expenses and the general and admin expenses. Okay, that's the difference between the US GAAP versus the other standards. You will separate out the selling expenses and the general and admin expenses. What will this give you?
EBITDA.
Very good. This gives you EBITDA, earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization, minus depreciation and amortization. What will this give you?
EBIT.
Earnings before interest and tax. This is basically the operating profit that you have. Minus, then what goes out?
Interest.
Interest expense. Earnings before tax. Minus tax. This gives you your bottom line. which is the net income. Good. So this is the generalized form of income statement. Very, very basic, very, very broad level. Don't ask me, especially for the experienced people, don't ask me as of now, what about the discontinued operations? What about this? What about that? Everything will come, but at its respective place. Okay. We'll talk about all the things that you practically look at. Okay. But later on during the course, in the next session, probably. Now, the step that I have added extra here is this step. Now, you might ask me, why is depreciation and amortization not included in G&A only? You do it, I know. But, for you to do a lot of computation when it comes to corporate finance also, you should be knowing that, there is something known as EBITDA also. Okay, for valuation, for corporate finance things, for mergers, acquisition, and all such things, we separate out. EBITDA is very, very important as the number. Okay, this is just to show you. Yes, of course, you can club it. All right, looking at the balance sheet, what does the balance sheet reflect?
Financial position.
Very good. Financial position during a period of time?
For a period of time.
At a period of time.
As of
Okay.
the specific date. Right, as of the specific date. Now, when I say financial position, not the performance. आज अगर मैं बैलेंस शीट बना रहा हूं आज की डेट पे अभी मेरी क्या एसेट्स हैं, क्या लायबिलिटीज हैं और क्या रेजिडुअल इक्विटी है. All right. So financial position as of the specific date. Very good. Of course, I'm not getting into the format, right? You all know that. You start with assets. And yes, one thing, when it comes to assets also and when it comes to liabilities also, you have this bifurcation into current and non-current. How do you bifurcate? How do you
Long-term
bifurcate between current and non-current? Yeah.
Liquidity
short.
basis,
Okay, when you say liquidity basis, what does that mean?
things that can be realized as soon as possible.
As soon as possible.
They are
Let's say
In a year, in a
readily,
year's time.
something that
readily.
which you'll use or you're obligated to pay within 12 months, right? That 12 months is the period that you take to classify it as per current and non-current, right? So if I have to pay something within the next 12 months, that becomes my current liability, right? If something I have to pay after that, that becomes my non-current portion. All right. Just to give you an example, let's say that you have a company, X company, and you have taken a loan from the bank of, let's say, $10,000. This is on 1st of January year one, let's say, or let's say 31st of December year one. All right. Now, the first installment is due, let's say, on 31st December year two. Let's say on 31st December year two. Right? So now, as on 31st December year one, when I am making the balance sheet for year one, under the liability side, how will I classify this loan of 10,000? Between current and non-current portion, how will I classify this
Depending upon
10,000?
Period.
Yeah, so give me the amount. Where should I put? Should I put 10,000 as non-current liability?
Should
But
divide
in your
first
question,
installment in current and balance in non-current.
Okay,
no,
so
first
you are
installment
saying,
paid, right? When
sorry?
the first installment is paid or payable?
No, it's payable on year 2.
Okay, then it is non-current asset, non-current liability.
So,
The reason is
so
you already crossed a 12-month period, right? Then
I
definitely,
have not yet crossed 1 month period, or 12-month period.
no, sir. I'm sorry to interrupt. Sir, you took a loan on 31st December year 1. Am I correct?
Yeah, yeah,
And you are still paying first installment on 31st December year 2.
yeah.
So it means that still there
चलो
are
इसको ठीक, अरे इसको ठीक कर लो यार, ये लो जुलाई कर लो बस, अब ठीक है.
Sir, in your question, how many installments are there?
Doesn't matter. The first installment is, let's say, of $2,000. What will be the
2000
non-current portion?
2000 would be the current,
Current.
and 8000 should be the non-current.
So current, you're saying current maturities of long-term debt, you are saying 2,000? Is that right?
Correct.
Yes, you are absolutely right. And that is the terminology that you use. Current maturities of long-term debt, 2,000. That's how you classify something that I have to pay within the next 12 months, right? That goes as my current liability, and the remaining becomes my non-current liability. And if somebody asks you what is the total amount of debt, that of course the 8,000 plus the current maturities of 2,000. ठीक है? Good. अरे ये मत बोलना यार, इसमें इंटरेस्ट भी तो होगा इंस्टॉलमेंट में होगा also, please. We'll pass that. Okay. Good. All right. Cash flow statement. Yes. Moving on to the cash flow statement. What is the cash flow statement?
Will record only when cash is received or cash is paid.
That means what you're trying to say is that the cash flow statement reflects the movement of cash
Correct.
as of a particular date
Correct.
during the period, not as of the particular date.
Okay.
Okay. उस दिन cash थोड़ी आया या गया, ये position थोड़ी देखनी. During the period, what were my cash inflows? What were my cash outflows? And what is the resulting cash that I have? Right? That is the cash flow statement. So this cash flow statement, although guys, this cash flow statement forms a very important part of your curriculum, right? There is a separate chapter dedicated to cash flow statement. Yes, you will have multiple questions for MCQs. If your day is bad, you will have a full-fledged simulation question also, which requires you to look at the annexures and fill up the cash flow statement and prepare that big cash flow statement. Right. So this is something that's very important, and we will be doing this in detail also when we'll reach the cash flow chapter. But since I am just forming the base of everything right now, let's just discuss the cash flow statement. The cash flow statement divided into how many components? Sorry,
Three.
three components. From what is the first one?
Cash from operation. Cash flow from operation.
Operations. Next,
From investment,
Investments.
investing activities. And the third one,
Financing.
financing activities. Cash flow from operations will have what?
Sales,
What will be cash flow?
revenues, sales.
All the cash used, or the cash generated from operating activities of your company. Simple. How many approaches? Two approaches. You can either compute this through a direct method
indirect.
or an indirect method. Earlier, direct method used to come, but now the CPA will test you only on the indirect method. All right. Now, when you talk about indirect method, let's say cash flow from operations, we start with net income. You add back. Now help me out with the cash flow statement, guys. मैं थोड़ी बनाऊंगा. बताओ. Depreciation.
Depreciation.
Okay.
Non-operating incomes.
हाँ, वो उस पे आते हैं. Plus decrease in current assets minus increase in current assets plus increase in current liabilities minus decrease in current liabilities. Now you have to help me out with two questions. One is, why am I, you know the question, why am I adding back depreciation?
Because it is not a real cash outflow.
Cash flow.
Because it's a non-cash expense, right? ये आपका cash नहीं जाता when you charge the depreciation. I am not asking what is depreciation. We'll have an in-depth discussion over there. P.S. Grewal का sentence मत बताना उस time में को आप. ठीक है? So net income plus depreciation. ठीक है? Non-cash. That means all the non-cash items. Right? Now, why am I adding the decrease in current assets? ये working capital का क्या issue है? Right? कि asset decrease हो रहा है तो आप add कर दो, increase हो रहा है तो minus कर दो, उल्टा नहीं होना चाहिए. But let's just understand this. Let's say you have 2 years, 23 and 24. Let's say my inventory is 100 and in 2024 it's 150. Okay. What is the change?
50.
50. Now, in the cash flow statement, when I'm making for 2024, what will I do of this 50? Is it my cash inflow or is it my cash outflow?
Outflow.
Why
And
outflow?
nothing is
Why
happening
not?
there. Your just the value of your stock increased.
Acha, so should I ignore it?
No, not like that.
Acha.
We put more than 50 rupees extra in the inventory, so it's cash outflow.
देखो, इसका फंडा ये है, इसका कॉन्सेप्ट ये है. When your current assets increases, अब आपका इन्वेंट्री 100 से वो 150 हो गया. Tell me with a yes or a no. Does that mean more of my cash is now tied up in inventories?
Yes.
I repeat, if my inventories is increasing from 100 to 150, does that mean yes or no?
Sir, we lost your voice in middle.
Okay, I am saying if my inventories increase from 100 to 150, do you agree that more of my cash is now tied up in inventories?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Similarly, if my accounts receivable increase from 50 to 80, that means more of my cash is now tied up with in accounts receivable.
Yeah.
Do you all agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. So since more of your cash is now tied up in inventories or accounts receivable, this is regarded as a cash outflow. Okay. Because now more of your cash is now tied up in those components. Similarly, let's say the other way around, if it was 100 and then it became 80, let's say, the inventories. What does this mean?
They
More
received.
cash has been realized.
That
Cash
means
is
now
free.
you must have sold the inventories and you must have realized you might have realized the cash,
Yes.
right? So this decrease is taken as a cash inflow. Opposite is the case with current liabilities. Let's say your accounts payable from 100 it became 200. Then how do you interpret this? Cash outflow or cash inflow?
Inflow.
Inflow, why? अब
I
accounts
have
payable
not
तो realize
paid.
नहीं होंगे.
We get extra 100 extra inventory of more than 100 rupees.
वो तो inventory में चला गया.
No, I mean, it's payable to the to the vendor. So we get extra 100 rupees, something extra of 100.
You get something extra of 100.
We are using someone
Uh,
else.
Someone
मतलब
service or inventory.
मतलब see 100 का 200 हो गया. What does that mean? That means you had to pay 100. Now you have to pay 200. That means you are holding on to that cash,
Yeah.
which otherwise you should have paid to the payables, to the vendors. So since you are holding on to that cash, you still have cash to be utilized for other purposes, right? And hence that is regarded as a cash inflow. Similarly, if it was 100 and it became 50, so that means 50 you have paid to the vendors. So that's a cash outflow. All right. Comfortable?
Can you tell for inventory, sir? 100 to 150 it became.
100 to 150 when it became, that means more of your cash is now tied up in inventories,
Okay.
right? यही मतलब होगा ना. अगर आपने आज, if you have some inventory, you purchase more inventory. That means now more of your cash is tied up in those inventories.
Okay. Okay. I paid more in the sense there is a cash outflow.
I'm sorry.
I purchased for more inventory. 100 to 150 I purchased means there is a 50 outflow. That's what you mean, right?
It's a 50 outflow, right?
Okay. Okay.
Now your cash is tied up.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. Fair enough. So this gives you cash flow from operations. Then cash flow from investing activities. क्या आएगा इसमें? अरे sale of
Investments.
investments, sale of fixed assets,
Fixed assets.
purchased of fixed assets, also called
PP.
नहीं वो तो चलो fixed asset नहीं. What is this purchase of fixed assets also called? Capex.
Capex.
capital expenses, capital expenditure. We'll talk about that capital expenditure also in a while. ठीक है, this gives you your CFI. हाँ, long term investment वो सब ठीक है, right? I'm building the base as of now. Cash flow from financing activities. क्या क्या आएगा?
Long-term debt raised or paid.
ठीक है. Debt raised plus or minus?
Plus.
Sure, but ये तो आपका liability है. प्लस क्यों कर रहे हो?
Inflow. Cash.
कैश तो आ रहा है ना, आप कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट बना रहे हैं ना, so we have to see just the cash effect. So cash is coming in, okay. Debt repaid minus cash goes out. Equity issued plus minus.
Plus.
क्यों? शेयर्स तो गए आपके.
Cash तो आ गया.
कैश तो आ गए, ठीक है. Okay, then buyback plus minus.
Minus.
इंडिया
Minus.
और IFRS में आप बायबैक टर्म यूज करते हो, बायबैक ऑफ शेयर्स. यूएस कैप में आप इसको बोलोगे
Repurchase. Treasury.
दिस इज योर ट्रेजरी स्टॉक. Okay, this terminology is treasury stock. Okay, fair enough. What else? Dividend plus minus. Minus. अरे एक चीज तो रहेगी, ये डिविडेंड को आपने यहाँ पे क्यों नहीं लगाया? Why have I not plus or subtracted or added dividend? नेट इनकम से, नेट इनकम से नहीं निकालोगे डिविडेंड बाहर?
नहीं, नो.
Why? नेट इनकम से डिविडेंड को बाहर ही नहीं निकालोगे?
Here we are talking about the operations of it.
So मतलब that means if I'm talking about the operations, so net income dividend को net income में ही रहने दो.
इनकम स्टेटमेंट में इफेक्ट ही नहीं दिया कभी डिविडेंड का.
डिविडेंड तो आता ही नहीं.
डिविडेंड शेयर होल्डर्स
Net-
को जाता है ना.
राइट, सो आपका इनकम स्टेटमेंट में डिविडेंड तो नहीं आता, तो नेट इनकम में डिविडेंड तो इंक्लूडेड नहीं है ना. डिविडेंड इज नॉट इंक्लूडेड इन नेट इनकम, राइट? इज डिविडेंड योर एक्सपेंस?
No.
Expense only, right? Sir, it's expense.
No.
It is from appropriation.
Dividend is not your expense, guys. Let's understand this. Dividend is an appropriation of your profits, right? So कभी इनकम स्टेटमेंट में आपने डिविडेंड एक्सपेंस लिखा हुआ देखा है? नहीं आता, राइट? इनकम स्टेटमेंट में डिविडेंड तो नहीं आएगा. Whatever earnings that you do, whatever net income you generate, you pay the dividend out of that. Am I
Yes.
right? Or am I
Yes.
right? Right? So that is why no effect of dividend over here, but you'll have to take in the financing activities. So that means if you observe what's happening in financing activities, all the items that relate to the capital structure of the company. What is the capital structure? What is the cap structure of the company? The debt and equity components, right? Yes, preference shares also. Keep that aside. Okay, so just I'm talking about a simple thing right now. So capital structure is the debt equity component of the company, right? So whatever items that relate to the capital structure of the company, that comes under the financing activities. All right. So after you do this, after you do this, you get cash movement during the year, which is what? 1 plus 2 plus 3. That means you add up the cash flow from operations, cash flow from investing activities, and cash flow from financing activities. This gives you cash movement during the year. Now, my question to you is this the cash that you have in your hand? Is this what the cash that you have in your hand? Yes or no?
Yes.
Acha. Okay. So that means you are saying this is what the cash is there in your hand. So should I link this to my balance sheet now? Should I take this to my balance sheet?
No.
Yes.
No.
It should
No.
match with the
Okay.
balance sheet.
Ah,
It
so,
is just a
should it?
movement.
During the year.
हाँ,
It is the
मतलब अगर
difference
ये सब
between
कर,
So
opening and
match with the
closing.
balance sheet.
right. So this is the cash that I have generated during the year. मेरे पास कुछ opening balance भी तो होगा cash का,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
And that is your closing cash and yes, cash equivalents that you use, right? And then you take this amount to your balance sheet. All right. This is what you take to the balance sheet. Or as you said, this is what should match with the balance sheet. Okay. Now, we used a terminology called CAPEX. Your expenditures are classified into OPEX and CAPEX. What do you mean by OPEX?
Operating expenditure.
Operating expenditures or revenue expenditures, right? Give me an example of operating expenditure.
Salaries.
General
Salary,
administration.
G&A, basically your day-to-day
J&A,
expenses.
yeah.
Correct. Good. And what do you mean by capital expenditure? When should you take something in CAPEX instead of OPEX?
When the
Which
benefits you are
has
getting for more than
exact-
12 months.
Which will give benefit for more than 1 year.
1
Fixed
year or
assets.
12 months.
Acquisition
अच्छा
of fixed assets.
चलो ठीक है. आपने अपनी बिल्डिंग को पेंट कराया, वो तो आपको बेनिफिट 1 साल से ज्यादा ही मिलेगा, तो वो मेरा केपेक्स होना चाहिए आपके हिसाब से?
No.
अरे
Which
अभी
has
तो आपने
some
बोला
add on, I mean, which has some
that
add on
means
You will earn also
that
include.
means see, I know all of you know this,
benefits.
but it's just being able to put across. Now, when do you take something in capex is when an expenditure enhances the revenue generating capacity of an asset. When an expenditure enhances the revenue generating capacity of an asset. And yes, before you ask me, you might get a question classifying under capex or opex. Okay. Right. So capex, something that enhances the revenue generating capacity of an asset, or it said that you did an expenditure and you were able to save costs. Then also it's a capex only, right? Either you enhance the revenue generating capacity, or you save cost, or you make the asset more efficient, right? So let me give you some examples. You purchase a machinery worth $10,000, CapEx or OpEx?
CapEx.
Obviously CapEx, right? When you purchase a new asset, right, you bring new capacities, new generating capacities with you, right? So that's always a CapEx. Okay. You paid $1,000 for annual maintenance contract, AMC, on that machine that you purchased. CapEx or OpEx?
OpEx.
OpEx.
CapEx or OpEx?
OpEx. It is
अरे इसमें कोई
maintenance
पोल
contract.
इसमें कोई पोल का ऑप्शन नहीं होता होता था नहीं होता इसमें नहीं होता लेकिन वेबएक्स में होता है ओके सो CapEx or OpEx guys?
OpEx.
OpEx? Why not OpEx? Why not CapEx?
It is not
It's annual
enhancing
maintenance.
capacity.
Because see, you are doing that
Recurring.
maintenance to maintain that capacity, not to
Mhm.
enhance the capacity of an asset. If there is a machine who, let's say, can produce 10,000 units. So by maintaining, doing the maintenance on that machine, you're maintaining that capacity. Unless you do an expenditure, you take a new part or something that increases the capacity to 15,000 units. Then that becomes your CapEx. All right. Wonderful, guys. So CapEx, OpEx, you take it in the income statement. CapEx, you take it in the balance sheet. Wonderful, guys. So far, so good. Are you able to understand the things?
Yes.
Yes, something new, at least something new you would have come to know. कुछ ऐसा लगा होगा कि हाँ ये रिवाइज हो गया ये नहीं पता था.
Yes.
Right? Can we say that?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is what I wanted to cover with you today in the session. All right. I know all of you, majority of you would like to go to office now. It's time. So it's okay. I will be ending the session now. From the next session onwards, 6:30 means 6:30. I will start at 6:30 a.m. guys. Make sure you keep attending the class at 6:30. Don't delay in joining the session. Right. And next session onwards, we'll start with the actual curriculum. We'll start with the first module. All of you, have you received access to your Becker portal?
Yes.
Anybody who doesn't have access to Becker portal?
Yes, I don't have it. I don't get it. Actually,
You didn't get
we
it?
have to inform him, right?
Okay, so do one thing. If you have not received your Becker login, just talk to the VGLD team, and I'm sure they'll be very happy to assist you with the login ID. Just wait for a while, guys. Just wait for 2 minutes. I am just creating that WhatsApp group link. Just forgot. Just give me a second. I'm just sharing the link on the group here. This is March 25 batch. Okay. Okay, I am sharing the link in the chat box over here, guys. Make sure you join this group. Copy link. And guys, Please, I request you to not to circulate this link. Let's restrict this group to this batch only, right? Don't keep on circulating this, group to various people. I want to keep this specifically to this batch. All right. So only the participants of this batch will get access to this group. All right. Please make sure you're following this. There you go. Just let me know if it's working. Okay. Seems it's working. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough, guys. Wonderful. Please make sure you join this group. All right, guys. I think it's time to end the session for the day. Thank you so much for joining. I will be seeing you now on Wednesday. Is it? Okay. I'll see you on Wednesday now. Thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful day ahead. I'll see you on the other side.